Hello and welcome to another reaction video of Path of Exile and the new league that has been just announced. Disclaimer, I'm quite ill in the following clips. I'm still not feeling too good. So if you realize, man, Daniel, react harder, bro. That's because I was actually ill. I had headaches, stomachache, all this stuff. But you know what? I gotta stream. I gotta show my reaction. I gotta, I want to see what's happening with Path of Exile. So that's what I did. There will be a second video after this one about the Q&A with Siggy and Chris Wilson that will also be edited, so it's not like 30-40 minutes long, and it's more, easily consumable, like a little can, like, yummy. I don't know. With this out of the way, I do hope you enjoy my hardcore reaction of Path of Exile Scourge. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Cool. Welcome to the Work From Home edition of our Path of Exile announcement livestream. Thanks for joining us as we discuss all the details of the upcoming Path of Exile Scourge expansion, which releases on October 22nd for PC and October 27th on console. I'm proud to present the official trailer for Path of Exile Scourge.
Let's go.
The day the demons found our world, the innocent were first to die.
Okay. Scary, threatening, dark.
They approach your world, your Raycast. You must take the fight to them. Embrace the power of chaos.
I thought something like synthesis.
Become more
Maybe.
than mortal. Face the nightmare.
Oh, so she helps us become stronger. Improved Atlas endgame, we heard about that. Uber endgame content, yep. Passive tree rework. Passive tree masteries. Okay. Expedition goes core and much more.
They are ravenous. They are endless. They are the Scourge.
Oh, it's not Scourge, it's Scourge. Alright. Looks very dangerous. Had a little bit of, like the Abyss thing on the ground, which I actually also had briefly in mind.
The Path of Exile Scourge expansion contains a lot of new content and features that we'll reveal to you today.
It looks like a lot.
Let's start with its namesake, the Scourge Challenge League. Upon leaving Lionized Watch, you're startled by a figure appearing out of nowhere, trying to escape from something you can't see. She hands you a rusty-looking device called the Blood Crucible and urges you to implant it into your body. As you play through each area in the Scourge Challenge League, the Blood Crucible fills with the blood spilled by monsters you have slain.
Okay.
Once it reaches a certain threshold, you're able to activate the device. This will instantly thrust you into a parallel reality, an alternate Raycast where some form of apocalyptic event is occurring. This Raycast is overrun by demons known as the Scourge. They're powerful, dangerous, and come in many forms. The more blood you have collected, the longer you can stay shifted into the parallel Raycast. But the longer you stay, the more damage you'll take. When the Crucible's blood runs out or you choose to shift back, you are instantly returned to your original location in our Raycast to continue your journey.
Well, that's good.
So why enter an alternate reality to fight a horde of ravenous demons?
Good question.
The answer to that question is exactly what you expect from Path of Exile. You're not there to save the world, you're there to find cool items. You can put an item inside the Blood Crucible. While you are killing the Scourge, it absorbs corruption from the alternate Raycast and focuses it onto the item. After enough kills, your item is ready to transform. When it does, it becomes corrupted and gains a pair of Scourged modifiers. One of these is a beneficial mod and one is a detrimental mod. These Scourged mods are in addition to the regular explicit and implicit mods or enchantments on the item. There are many powerful beneficial mods available that can really improve your item. The detrimental mods can significantly raise the requirements of the item, penalize your character's stats such as resistances, or outright turn off various mechanics like the ability to deal fire damage or gain charges.
Okay.
The goal of the transformation process is to get a beneficial mod that makes your item a lot more powerful, while also rolling a detrimental mod that doesn't hurt your build much or at all. But if you get a combination you're unhappy with, then your item is not ruined. By putting it back in the Blood Crucible and killing even more monsters in the alternate Rayclast, you can transform it a second time, potentially getting a better pair of mods that overwrite the first. Equipment can be transformed up to 3 times, and each time it guarantees a minimum tier of beneficial and detrimental mods equal to the number of times it has been transformed. By the 3rd tier, you can start to get some very powerful effects.
Okay, so you have to do it 3 times to really get the juicy stuff.
The Blood Crucible works on already corrupted items, so it's possible to add Scourged mods to items that you thought couldn't be improved any further.
Oh, that's good.
As you slay the Scourge and other monsters while shifted, the Blood Crucible gains experience and can level up. You can allocate its skill points in its own passive skill screen, which allows it to specialize in many aspects such as unlocking additional item slots, faster item transformation, better transformation outcomes, the ability to transform unique items, and so on. It's possible to eventually allocate every single one of the Blood Crucible skills, but it requires a lot of demon slaying.
Good. Nice. So you can get everything. That's good.
Scourge's endgame is one where you control the level of risk and reward, or as we like to say in the business, it has a lot of player agency. Once you're exploring the Atlas of Worlds, you may gain the ability to place maps in the Blood Crucible alongside your equipment. When a map absorbs enough corruption and transforms, it gains a beneficial and detrimental effect in the same way that a piece of equipment does, but can also gain a modifier that changes the behavior of Scourge League in that map entirely. After all, when you combine 2 types of alternate realities together, the results are bound to be unpredictable.
That's the whole corruption.
Maps can be transformed up to 10 times, increasing their risk and reward substantially each time. When a map is transformed a second or subsequent time, there's a chance that the new beneficial or detrimental modifiers stack alongside the existing ones, enhancing their power, or a chance that new modifiers are added. Be careful not to transform your maps too many times, of course, as they may become too dangerous to complete.
Nice.
In the meantime, though, our October Scourge expansion introduces a bunch of changes that speed up how quickly you can set up and progress through your Atlas.
Very good.
We're also introducing more types of ultra-challenging endgame content for top players who want to put their best characters to the test.
I mean, I already talked about that, but still.
In order to substantially shorten the length of the Atlas grind, we've reduced the number of regions from 8 to 4.
Nice.
This implicitly reduces the number of watchstones required from 32 to 16. We've made each tree slightly larger and removed some less frequently used or duplicated skills. You'll still be awarded the same number of Atlas passive skill points as before. With these changes, each map you play constitutes far more progress than it previously did. About half as much work is now required to reach Path of Exile's ultimate endgame.
Okay, we don't get more Atlas passives. That's what extra what I
We've made some other changes to streamline the endgame also. For example, now when you unveil a modifier, all tiers of that modifier are immediately unlocked at the crafting bench.
Nice.
This applies to every veiled modifier, including the very rare ones.
Thank you very much. So you don't have to fuck around with veiling,
Path of
unveiling.
Exile's past leagues have an endgame component that is designed to challenge the best players with the best builds. Over time, more and more of Path of Exile's experienced players have managed to defeat the game's hardest content.
Oh yeah.
Our most difficult endgame content doesn't pose as much of a challenge as it once did. In the Scourge expansion, we have added a set of new aspirational content, Uber versions of Breach, Blight, Legion, an extension to Delirium's Simulacrum, and a revamp of Delve.
And pure.
Path of Exile Scourge introduces a new tier, Flawless Breachstones. These can't be obtained via blessings, but are instead found in the Maven encounters where you fight the Breachlords in their most challenging forms.
Oh.
These Flawless Breachstones require a substantially more powerful character to complete, but have rewards appropriate for their difficulties. All Breachstones have been modified so that the items you earn from monsters are now dropped in the spiral at your feet when you complete or fail the event. In addition, rare monsters and breach domains drop an additional random reward types such as scarabs, maps, or divination cards, with Flawless Breachstones adding 2 additional reward types. All Breachstones are far more rewarding than before.
Cool. So you have a little place where
Blighted maps were
drop
previously our
stuff.
pinnacle
That's
blight
nice.
content, but as you can expect, these extremely difficult extra waves are very rewarding and feature escalating chances for a Delirium boss to spawn. With each wave you play, the Simulacrum now has increasing chances of dropping cluster jewels and past wave 20 Delirium unique items. Previously, you could only get a maximum of 1 Delirium unique item per Simulacrum, but now you can walk out with multiple high-value items such as voices.
Nice.
The first change is that we have completely rebalanced the entire thing so it's just more rewarding and more challenging at earlier depths. In general, monsters scale to have more life but less damage than before. We've improved monster skills and bio modifiers to make deeper depths more challenging to go with their better rewards. We've also improved the delve catch-up mechanic. Previously, if you entered delve for the first time at level 90, you'd be taken to a depth that is the equivalent of tier 1 maps. Now we'll be taken to the equivalent of tier 13 maps. This means that if you want, you can essentially ignore delve until the late game rather than having to play as you go.
Very good.
We've increased the base sulfite cap from 600 to 1200. Underground cities are now more common and you'll encounter bosses more often, including all.
Spoilers!
You can rarely find fractured items with delve modifiers on them.
Maximum number of specters.
Fossil and resonator availability throughout the Azurite mine. Fossil availability outside of delve has been reduced. All resonators drops are now chaotic resonators, with alchemical resonators not dropping anymore. We've also improved the least powerful fossils.
Improved the least powerful. That's good.
It has been a long time since we've done a big rework of Path of Exile's iconic passive skill tree.
Yep.
The Scourge expansion includes quite a lot of changes, and before I list them, I want to emphasize that our goal here has been to keep the tree as similar to before as possible. All of your years of muscle memory will not be wasted. The tree will still feel like the back of your hand, despite our changes.
Yeah, you have muscle memory.
While planning this rework, we examined every aspect of the passive skill tree. We reviewed and improved each of the tree's class start areas, we added new clusters of skills, improved existing ones, and concentrated power more directly on each skill's primary
It looks
function.
good. It looks modern.
The process of doing this identified that many passive skills had niche stats that didn't matter to most characters or distracted away from the purpose of what the skill was trying to do. When we took niche stats away from the skill, we buffed the primary function of the skill so that it was more concentrated on one purpose.
Gives it importance.
While I'm sure that powerful passive skills sound great to you, you're probably wondering what happened to all of those niche stats. You see, while we were doing this revamp, we realized that specific build-enabling niche stats appearing in specific locations on the tree actually constrained players' passive builds in quite severe ways. Players who wanted to get several specific niche stats often had little flexibility with the rest of their tree because they had to plan around getting to the specific clusters that had those niche stats in them. We decided we wanted to solve both problems at once here, to move niche stats off the main tree, but also to provide a way to get them, preferably from many different locations all over the passive skill tree. And that's how we came up with a passive masteries system. Outside of the class start locations, all passive skill clusters that have a notable passive in them now contain a passive mastery. When you allocate the first notable passive in each cluster, a mastery becomes available to allocate in that cluster. When you spend a passive skill point on the mastery, you can choose a specific stat to gain. This list is shared with all the clusters on the tree that have the same theme, so you can travel to any of them to get the stat you want. As you allocate a mastery stat, it's crossed off the list for that theme. This mastery system has essentially let us add hundreds of powerful new notable passives that you can access from all over the tree.
Yep.
In addition to the stats that we moved into masteries when consolidating power on the rest of the tree, we got to come up with a bunch of new interesting niche stuff that enable even more builds. Overall, Path of Exile's passive skill tree is now a lot more powerful, with concentrated power coming from core passives and a selection of build-enabling niche stats available on masteries for you to pick between.
That's good. Oh my god, Path of Building. Developers, please take my energy.
A whole variety of new skill gems with many different purposes.
They're gonna die, dude.
Concepts unlike anything we have done before. These ones are designed to immediately create entirely new builds that have a lot of potential. There's also
how many skills now?
To help characters stay alive, a variation on an existing skill gem, and 6 new gems designed for party play. Let's go through the new skills.
Good. Right.
Energy Blade is a new skill that transforms your melee weapons into, well, energy blades. A large portion of your energy shield is converted into the lightning damage that these blades deal. This opens up an entirely new melee energy shield archetype, where you want to stack as much energy shield as possible to get the most powerful blades you can.
It looks cool.
Conveniently, the defenses rework in this expansion is very compatible with this plan.
Damn.
Temporal Rift is a new utility skill that allows you to rewind your character's state by 4 seconds. After activating the skill, it starts
Nice.
storing your position, life, mana, and energy shield values every quarter second. When you use the skill again, you will rerun back to 4 seconds ago. The
Oh, and
build
does
shown
some
here
damage.
uses the Forbidden Right skill introduced in the last expansion. This skill does a lot of damage, but also hurts the caster when used. Temporal Rift allows this player to snapshot their full life orb, cast Forbidden Right a lot, and then revert back to full life to keep casting. Not only is Temporal Rift incredibly useful in hardcore mode for obvious reasons, or while exploring maps efficiently,
Wait,
but it
what?
also enables some interesting tricks with mana. Come to think of it, it'll be pretty cool in Delve as well if you don't mess up the timing. Temporal Rift also
Wow.
prevents temporal chains from affecting you while it is in use. Tornado is another new skill. As the name suggests, it creates a tornado that relentlessly moves towards enemies and pulses with damage. While the tornado is forming, you have a couple of seconds where it will absorb damage from projectiles you hit it with. Fire as many projectiles as you can into it during that period, and it'll
So we
power
Genshin
up,
Impact
greatly
now.
increasing its damage output.
Kidding. Very good. I love this. This is actually what I was
In the
hoping
Expedition
for the
expansion,
future of
we introduced a
ARPGs.
skill called Explosive Concoction.
Like how fast it
It's quite rare
stacks.
for us to introduce skills that only work for party play.
Yep.
In the Scourge expansion, we've created a set of 6 that function in similar ways but do different things. These link skills create a bond between you and a specific party member, providing a big benefit to them while they stay within range, but with the very important drawback that if they die, so do you.
Oh!
Soul Link protects your target by causing a percentage of damage they are dealt to be applied to your energy shield instead. If you have built a tanky character with a lot of energy shield, then you and your target will be protected by it. Protective Link grants your target a chance to block attacks that is equal to yours, and also grants some life gain on block to them. By default, the obvious use of this Link skill is to allow you to specialize in block, and then use it to protect an ally that is specialized in something else, like damage. Intuitive Link is socketed alongside a spell on your character, and that spell is triggered from your target's location when they hit an enemy. This could be useful, for example, if you have a party member who's cycloning through enemies, and you can trigger your spells from within those packs of enemies without having to get close yourself.
What?
There are 3 other Link skills that we will reveal closer to release.
This is cast on. This is cast on hit.
Significant nerfs to aura bot characters who stack auras for the benefit of their party members. These Link skills give them a viable, more active playstyle.
Isn't this busted?
Link skills cannot normally be used with your minions, but we're adding a minion mastery to the passive skill tree that allows you to use Link skills with them. However, this has a high ongoing mana cost that is difficult to stay on top of.
Okay.
In Path of Exile Scourge, we've done a lot of balance work improving flasks, ailment mitigation, general character defenses, and elemental damage over time.
Yes, it just
We've
cooled
made some
himself.
changes to how stacking auras and
Maybe.
curses works, and we have entirely removed the favor system from Path of Exile. From this expansion onwards, all hideout decorations that could previously be obtained with favor are now available to all players in unlimited quantities, both personal and guild hideouts.
What?
Now, there's nothing stopping you from making the hideout of your dreams.
Okay. You know how it was way too
We've also
expensive, then
added
they
a system
halved
that
it.
allows you to filter
and now it's
decorations
gone.
by tag because they're... As we
Explosive
move
radio.
new leagues to core, we will replace outdated, obsolete content.
No!
In this case, Expedition replaces Perandus. Details are in the patch notes.
Oh. Rest in peace, Paran. Rest in peace,
While
Kadiro.
clicking on items is a critical part of playing an action RPG, there's a fine line before it becomes a chore, and we're trying hard to make sure that clicks on items come with appropriate reward. Expedition artifacts
Caddy,
being
bro.
automatically picked up isn't the only improvement
Rage.
we're making to reduce unnecessary clicks in this expansion.
I'm actually
In order
looking
to make
forward
sure
to
that. Each
that.
stack of currency items is worth a click. We're trying out a system where currency items drop less frequently, but in larger stack sizes.
That was
For
good.
example,
Oh,
Scrolls of Wisdom in the late game might drop 1/10 of the time, but when they do, it'll be in stacks of 6 to 14. This means that the click that you will make will gain you a much more meaningful amount of currency at once. We have applied this to many different types of currency items, and the effect of the system gets larger as you get further into the game.
thank God.
In addition, we've had a look at instances where item drops happen simultaneously, and we've made it so that items that can drop in stacks will automatically do so. This includes at the end of delves, incursions, rituals, blight encounters, breach stones, and the simulacrum. We have also applied this approach to many chests and
Nice.
areas like splinter drops throughout Path of Exile.
Very good.
Before we move on to our
You
final
still need to
announcement and
click,
live Q&A,
which is good.
let's have a quick look at the new set of supporter packs that are available right now to celebrate the launch of Path of Exile Scourge,
But it is
and
a
help fund
meaningful
ongoing
click.
development of Path of Exile.
A lot of stuff, as always, you know. They overwhelm you. Scourge looks interesting. It looks like a little bit of a simpler a little bit simpler in terms of, what the league has, right? You just go into the different realm, kill monsters, transform your items. Hopefully you get something good. You transform it 2 more times. Hopefully you get something good. You get skills, which means you can hopefully get even better items, or you can force that you get better items, or whatever you want, right? Whatever the skills give. We only saw like 3 or 4, I think. It looks good, every league looks good. They always give you a lot more than what you think. It's not just, like previously, like many years ago, when monsters moved faster for a league, lol. Now it's like way bigger, like so many more monsters, look so scary. I love the feeling of it, To be honest, in Expedition, they really nailed the feeling in certain boss fights with like lighting and the surroundings and everything else and the effects. And I think they really nailed it now, not in boss fights, but in the whole map, like when you go into this Scourge or in this other realm. So that felt really good. It looked really cool. It looked dangerous, which, it's part of Exile. It is dangerous. It is difficult. If it's easy, then then it's not part of Exile anymore. Other than that, a lot of other small features. I mean, the skills are interesting. As always, they put out a couple new skills. We're gonna figure out, or people, not me, lol, haha. People will figure out some sort of way how to use them, maybe how to abuse them, especially the link stuff with parties. I mean, I don't play in a party, but my skill can be used when my friend hits an enemy. That seems extremely busted, and I have no idea how they're gonna balance it. Either it's gonna be very, very weak, so it's gonna be fun at the start of the game, which is fine, or it's gonna be extremely busted and everybody's gonna use it later on. We'll see, because there needs to be a cooldown. How many times can a skill get triggered per hit? Because later on you will have so many enemies, you're constantly attacking enemies, or you're just gonna, explode the whole screen. I mean, it's already happening, but anyways. Guild stuff. I'm not in the guild, but goddamn guild hideouts just sound sick, right? You go to a guild hideout and you might get invited to some people and you get into their guild hideout and you just see this big ass area and it looks cool. And now without a favor system, thank God, you can just buy whatever you want, whenever you want, and decorate your hideout however you want it, as many times over as possible. So good. Hi, Daniel here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and like. I know I don't say it often, it's annoying, but I do enjoy, seeing some people subscribe and want to see more of this stuff. And of course, if you like the video, it just shows me you want more of this stuff. Beside that, thank you so much for everybody who was in the Twitch chat, and actively chatting with me before and afterwards. Thank you so much. And as mentioned before, if the CGD and Chris Wilson Q&A will be uploaded soon-ish, so you could subscribe for that. I don't know. I mean, you could. I'm just okay. It's fading away. All right, everyone. Screen is fading. I gotta go. Bye.